Alrighty then, everybody. Welcome to the Awkward Howler podcast, which used to run exclusively on SoundCloud, but I ran out of my 3 hours of free time, and I'm not really in a financial situation to do the upgraded version. It's only $10 a month, but it's not really something I can do right now. So if you want to catch up on the previous episodes, the link is in the description below for all, I think, 8 episodes, if you're interested. So today, as you can see by the title, we're going to talk about the ending of How I Met Your Mother, which happened a long time ago. Well, not too long ago, maybe like a few years. But anyway, I've watched the show over and over again, maybe like 3 or 4 times, and I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, at first I was, because I'm a writer, so I was on board with the creators of the show making an ending that wasn't meant to be a crowd pleaser. Like, a lot of people hated it, not just fans, but a lot of magazines were saying that the ending of How I Met Your Mother was pretty horrific. And to me, that's a bit of an exaggeration, a bit too strong of a reaction to that ending. And I think the reason for that is because most people have a consumerist mentality and approach and view to certain things that they're accustomed to. So when it comes to a premise of a show that seems so plain or easy to understand, you don't see it any other way. So when people see that the premise of the show for How I Met Your Mother was just a huge elongated story, primarily or entirely flashbacks, that discusses how the main character Ted met the mother of his children, that's all fans see as what the premise is. And it is true. I'm not trying to debate that. That's not something that can be argued, really, because that is the title of the show. Why else would it be called How I Met Your Mother? But what a lot of consumerists and the general public don't understand is that just like any elongated story, there are layers to it. It's not just about those two characters meeting eventually. It's about what happens in between, the people that they meet or don't meet, or the consequences that comes with your actions and everything. I could go way further into that, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. So the reason why I have mixed feelings about the ending isn't because I disagreed with what they decided to do, but how they did it. The execution of how certain things happened didn't really make sense. It felt extremely rushed. So, previous to the ending, Barney and Robin get divorced. And that makes sense, because as the creators themselves said, one of the things that they were trying to really exercise to the audience is that people don't change. And that's all fine and dandy, but it happened way too quickly. It's just like, things aren't working between us, Robin. Let's get divorced, because this doesn't make any sense to me. Everyone knows that Barney is a womanizer, and that part of him is never going to change. Plus, with Robin being a reporter that travels all the time, eventually it was going to happen sooner or later that they would eventually get divorced. And maybe Robin's feelings for having children might change. So that part's okay, but the fact that Ted, after having told his children that, told how he met the mother of his children, I didn't like that it was just tacked on, that he would go back to Robin and try and make things happen again. It was too convenient. Kind of like, oh, just so you guys know, they actually do still like each other. So, what's wrong with that for me is that there's too many unanswered questions. It's just like all you did was give a shot of Ted going to her apartment and showing the blue French horn. There was no discussion, there was no, why are you here, how is this going to work? Because they tried so many times. And yeah, he said to Barney before Robin and him got married that he can't promise that things won't be just a little bit weird. But if the case is that he never really let go of his feelings for Robin, then how did that not come up in the marriage, like the day of his wedding with the mother of his children? Like, if she was there at the wedding and he had conflicting emotions, then how would, like, it just doesn't make sense to have both of those things happen. Because Ted eventually came to the conclusion that he needs to let go of his love for Robin, because it just doesn't make sense to keep trying to chase a certain feeling and person if they will never feel the same way. And that's why he pretty much moved on from her and then decided to find the woman that actually feels the same way about him and actually feels like she is the one, which is what he's been doing for the entire show. So, in other words, if the show was really about him never changing his approach to Robin and his love for her never really went away, then why was it focused on the mother of his children as opposed to the other way around? Because if he really did want to tell his children that was really about his love for Robin, then the premise of the show kind of falters into the background. I don't know if this makes sense to anybody here, but that's just how I see it. So if you have an argument against that, or you agree, let me know, and have a great day.